everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecolored.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me. This is what I've been making today. Now, if you've followed me for any length of time at all, you might have spotted that I do like making kinetic and action cards. And I saw Jennifer Maguire make something that was very similar to this on her channel. And I thought, I wonder if I can have a go and make something similar. And this is what I've come up with. And the little truck drives along. Let me pull him along there. And I think that's lots of fun, and it was very easy to make, and if you stick with me I will show you how I did it. Here's what I'm using today. I've made a card blank out of thick whisper white, which I've cut to 11.5 by 5 3/4, and I've scored and folded it at 5 3/4 to make a square card base. And I have a piece of soft sky, which is 5.5 inches square. I've got a piece of wild wasabi, which is 5.5 inches along one side, and the other side doesn't matter quite so much. I think that's about 4.5 inches, because we're going to be cutting that down. And I've also got a little strip of wild wasabi, which is an offcut from the same piece. I've got a scrap of Daffodil Delight, which I may or may not use. I haven't quite decided yet. And I've got another piece of thick whisper white for stamping on. A piece of wild wasabi DSP from the Subtles stack, I think it is. Yes, it is indeed the Subtle stack. And I've cut that to fit onto my piece of wild wasabi card with a little bit all round. So if that is 5.5, then this is 5 1/4. And again, I'm going to trim it down so this is the only dimension that really matters. Okay. I'm going to be using Tasty Trucks. Now, this is one of the stamp sets that's in the Sale-A-Bration catalogue, and that is going to expire on the 31st of March. So if you've got your eye on this particular stamp set, or indeed anything that's in the Sale-A-Bration catalogue, you need to act now. You can't buy it, you can only earn it when you spend £45 in one transaction before postage and packing. So if you want this set, don't hang around, okay? This set, though, is in the Spring-Summer catalogue, and it's called Lift Me Up, and I'm going to be using, I think I'm just going to be using the clouds from that set. I've got ink, my ink pads, I've got some soft sky, some Daffodil Delight, and some basic black. My watercolour pencils, which I am loving, and this is in the annual catalogue. This set is called Sliding Star, and I'm going to be using this die out of it. And I've also got a 1 1/4 inch circle punch. First thing I wanted to do was to cut the channel out of the background card. So I've taken this die over to the Big Shot and run it through, and that is what I have got. Now, before I go any further, I want to put some decoration onto this background card, because for me it's a little bit plain, but I don't want anything that's too fancy. So I'm just going to stamp tone on tone. I've got my soft sky ink with the clouds from the, what is it called again, Lift Me Up bundle. So I'm just, you know, randomly, I'm not bothering too much. Okay, and I'm going to go off the edge there, and just kind of fill in. I'm going to take the teeny tiny one, and I'm going to fill in some space, just to give the background a little bit of interest. That's all I'm doing. Okay, right, so I'm going to stop there before I ruin it. And that is now ready for the next step. I want to trim the wild wasabi card so that it matches the curve in the channel. So to do that, I'm going to line my two pieces up together, and I'm going to hold them together with a little bit of low tack tape, just so it doesn't move around. And I'm going to turn it over, so I'm now working on the reverse of the card, and I'm just going to trace the channel just like that. Right, so I'm going to split them apart again, put that piece on one side, take the the card away, because I can use that card tape. I can use that for another day. And I'm going to get my nice big craft scissors here, and I'm going to cut about centimetre, so about just under half an inch, 3/8 of an inch maybe. I'm just going to cut just above that channel, and I'm just going to follow the line all the way and down to the natural curve at the end. Okay, so if I bring that back into place now, when I line those up, that channel is completely covered up. I want the DSP to match the curve on the card as well, so the way that I'm going to do that, I'm going to line them up where I want them, and I'm going to sort of center those in place, and I'm going to move the card up so that I've got a broader border at the bottom than I actually need. It's easy for you to say. And I'm just going to stick those together again. That's the same piece of tape, by the way, and same again. I'm just going to, this time I'm just going to follow the curve all the way around. And same scissors, and I'm just going to follow that line. And I'm using my nice big scissors because the large blades will give me a nice smooth cut. There we go. And now I can place that on top of that, and there will be a little border all the way around, which is the look that I want. So I'm going to do that with, I think, some liquid adhesive, because I have to be honest, liquid adhesive is usually my adhesive of choice. And I know that tapes are quicker and the runners are very convenient, but for me, particularly when I think a card is going to get a bit of handling, like this one I think probably will, because people are going to want to play with it, then I like to go for the liquid adhesive. Right, so I'm going to let that on one side to dry, and I'm going to bring in my bit of So Saffron card. I think it's So Saffron, and I'm just going to punch out a 1 1/4 inch circle, and with my Daffodil Delight ink, now I know it's not quite tone on tone, but it will work, trust me. This is a little makeup sponge that I buy in a pack of 20 from the pound shop, and I'm just gonna just touch the edges just like that, just to give it a little bit of shape. And that is going to sit in the sky on my card. So again, the liquid adhesive, which has wandered off, there it is. I'm going to pop that in the sky again, just to make the background of my card just a little bit more interesting. To save time, I've already stamped, coloured and cut out the track, and it's got 3 little cupcakes in there, and the message says "You're the sweetest." And now I'm going to assemble the slider mechanism. So I have a penny, the scrap of wild wasabi card, which I've cut to, I think that's probably about 2.5 inches, and dimensionals. And I'm going to begin by putting the penny behind the card and putting a dimensional onto the center of it. Okay, and then I'm going to take that off. Whoops, bumped the tripod there, sorry about that. And it would have helped if I'd had that on top of the card before I started. And I'm just going to stick my piece of wild wasabi card on top of it like that. Alright, so that now is going to, I hope, I'm just checking the mechanism, I'm just checking that it all works. That is going to work its way through the card, through the slot. Okay, and just work it back and forth a few times just to check that it doesn't catch anyway. Alright, so now could do it later, but I'm going to do it now. I'm going to take some more dimensionals, quite a few more actually, and I'm going to put them onto the back of the card here, and then I'm going to stick that onto the front of my card base. So I'll be back in a little while. That's stuck onto my card base. It took quite a few dimensionals because I wanted to make sure that it was well stuck down, so it's a good thing that they aren't expensive. And now I'm just going to do the final placement. So I'm going to bring back in my green hill here, and I'm just going to place that there just for a moment because I just want to get an idea of where I want the truck to be. And I think around about there looks right, and that I think is just a hair too long. So I'm just going to trim that down, okay, just like that, and I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals just on to the top of this piece of wild wasabi here. Alright, so that's ready, and it's going to be more dimensionals onto the back of this piece. And I'm not going to put any along the top curve there. I'm going to make sure I stay well clear of my penciled line. Alright, because I don't want these to foul the mechanism in any way. But, you know, as long as I'm away from that, well away from that curve, I am fine. And I think that will probably be enough. So that was not terribly straight. Flick the backs off. Come on, off you go. There you go. And that one will probably show, so I'm just going to trim it. Alright. And now I'm going to line this up with the background piece, like that. And now I'm going to take the backing of these dimensional pieces. Come on, off you go. Just like that. And I'm going to line the truck onto them just where I want it to be, right in the middle there. Okay, and now my truck will travel along the road here. 2, 1. So there's the finished card with the little truck driving along the road here. And I had a lot of fun making that card, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video. And if so, then why not like, share, subscribe to my channel, nip on over to my Facebook page, show me a picture of what you've been up to. I'd really like to see it. Link is below. But that is it for now. Thank you very, very much for joining me, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.